Hello and welcome to the Brutal Iron Gym podcast, where our goal is to cut through the BS and deliver the brutal truth about topics related to health and happiness. So today's podcast is number 628. The topic is mindset, and the title is You're Not Broken. So too often when I meet with people who've been struggling to reach their goals, whether it's nutrition goals, training goals, maybe rehab from injuries, different things like that, they'll often think that there's something wrong with them and that's why they can't be successful. And it doesn't mean in regards to what's wrong with them, maybe in terms of accountability or mental or emotional health. It's more so they think something's wrong with their body, like their body is broken, therefore their body cannot lose body fat, their body cannot build muscle, their body cannot get stronger, rehab an injury, whatever it might be. They think there's something wrong with their body's broken. And in some cases, there may be ways in which the body is not working as it should. So, for example, a thyroid problem. So, if they don't have a healthy thyroid, they can get thyroid medication and get back to kind of a healthy range, and then therefore their body will work like it should. Another example is low testosterone. So, if somebody doesn't have testosterone level that's appropriate, they can get aid in that, and then their body will work more so as we would anticipate a regular body, healthy body to work. So there are ways in which a person's body can be running less than optimal, but no one's broken. So when they say, "Oh, I've tried every diet under the world," and I can't lose weight, there's must be something wrong with me. Diets don't work for me. Yes, they do. It's just you're not using the right diet for you. So the theme I want to get across in this podcast is you're not broken. You just need a new approach. So I want to tell you a couple client stories, people who had tried their darndest to be successful, but the approach they were using was wrong. And we had to correct that approach, and once we did, they got the results they wanted. They got in a lot healthier state, and kind of it helped solve things. So there was one client I met, and her husband had reached out to me and asked me to help. And the woman was going to a facility. I'm going to be somewhat vague because I don't want to cause problems. But she was going to a facility. She had a couple trainers all like putting their heads together and trying to help her. They were doing all these stupid equations and stupid stuff that it was the best of what those trainers knew, but it wasn't going to be what this lady needed. They were actually applying the science to extreme and in the wrong ways to this person. So she was having trouble losing weight, but she was doing 3 hours of cardio a day and eating very, very, very restrictively. And I mean, maybe 1,000 calories. And they couldn't figure out why this lady was losing weight. Well, no freaking shit. I mean, you're just absolutely destroying the body. You are tearing it down, shredding it apart. You're hurting the body. It's not going to go along with that process. You essentially are doing what would kill the body. If I do a lot of activity and I don't feed my body, and then my body gives up all of its body fat, it'll die. Okay, body fat is stored energy, meaning it's energy that keeps us alive when we don't have enough food coming in. That's what it's intended to do. So way back when food was not readily available and easily available every day, we had to have surpluses where we would maybe, kill an animal or harvest a field and eat, 10,000 calories, but then we might not have any calories in the next day or two or three. So our body needed to figure out how to save those calories. That's what body fat is. It's saved energy. Well, if you're doing a whole bunch of activity and you're not eating any food, the body's going to consider that saved energy to be very valuable. It's going to want to use it very, very, very minorly, like only sparingly, and it certainly won't want to just give up all of its reserves. If it did, and then you did one more extra sit up than what it had the ability to help you fuel with versus what you were eating, you would die. So by doing a ton of cardio and by eating nothing, you are actually trying to kill your body. So it's no wonder then that your body fights that process. This is a pretty big duh moment. Let me do all the things my body is designed to fight against and wonder why my body fights against it. Duh. Okay? We can't do endless cardio and no food. and think your body's going to give rid of all ounces of body fat and just go, oh, okay, here, I'm going to have absolutely no protection whatsoever. And I'm going to trust that you're going to eat exactly how many calories you need per day, depending on what time of the day you need them. And I'm going to trust you to do that, even though at no point in our entire lives have we ever done that. But yet we expect our body to trust that. How many people undereat during the day and overeat at night? Well, I'm too busy to eat. No, you're not. You're just choosing not to eat. Well, if you had no body fat left and you were quote unquote too busy to eat, you would be dead. Okay? Body fat is helpful. It keeps us alive. If you do not use food correctly, your body increases the need to store body fat because of how incorrectly you're using the energy. So if you're doing a lot of activity and not feeding it, and then doing no activity and overfeeding it, that's an unpredictable, stupid way of using calories. So your body has to protect itself. Your body is trying to keep you alive while you are actively doing stupid things that kill it. So it's a darn good thing your body has body fat on it to protect you from you. We need to eat when we're active. That will allow us to eat less when we're less active because we won't be craving so much food. We won't even need the food. We won't even want the food. So our body fights the process of fat loss because we do it in such a stupid, stupid way. Ugh. So I got a little bit of a tangent there, but it's just, it's dumbfounding that people find it surprising that if I do a whole bunch of activity and eat nothing, my body doesn't like that. Oh, shit. And what do you think is going to be the result when you get down to 0% body fat? Say you got down to where you had six-pack abs and you're happy with the way you look. Are you going to now eat the way that's needed to maintain that? No, because you probably followed some stupid diet with stupid parameters that would be intended to get you down there in low body fat. But there's now, how the hell do you eat to stay there? No one educates anybody on nutrition, so therefore they have no freaking clue what to do when they actually reach their goals. They go back to stupid behaviors that made them overweight in the first place, and they wonder why the fat comes back. How the hell does this surprise anybody? How? How? Okay? So, I apologize for the rant. It's just, I feel bad that people can't get the results they want, but then I also am just kind of confused as to why they think the things that work don't. Like, why do you think that's going to work? There's no science behind that. There's no reasoning that would work. Okay? So, for this client, they were doing 3 hours of cardio. They were eating nothing. Their body was absolutely on guard. It was overly stressed out. It wasn't going to let anything happen because if it did, she would kill it. She'd work her body to death on that step meal. So, what I told her to do is I said, nothing you've tried in the last however many years has worked, right? And her and her husband were like, yeah. And I said, and every time you try to change it to try a new thing, that new thing doesn't work either. They go, yeah. And I said, okay, here's why it isn't working. I explained it. And then I said, for me to be able to help you, your body is too stressed right now. Your body is unhealthy. It will not go along with any kind of process that we try to do. So I need you to stop doing all cardio. I need you to eat some food, a little bit more food. I'm not telling you to eat 5,000 calories, but I gave her some guidelines on how to eat a little bit more than what she had been eating, maybe a couple hundred calories more. Give her body a chance to recover and heal. And I said, if you stay out of the gym for a month, if you eat the way I want you to now for a month, I'll then help you. And the point of that was her body was so beyond stressed that there was no way it was going to actually recover and react even to the positive, healthy things because it was so gun-shy and so hurt from what she had been doing to it. So she wasn't broken. It was just her approach was absolutely horrible. And the trainers who were trying to help her didn't know any better. So that really, really, really is unfortunate for her. But it explains why, excuse me for a second, it explains why once we got that month off, once we taught her how to eat more when she was more active, eat less when she was less active, and just maintain a small deficit throughout the day, then it finally started working. She started losing body fat, had more energy, built more muscle, and what do you know, things worked well. This is what we're looking for. You are not broken. You just need a new approach. Okay. And another female I helped, they got out of college sports. The college sport that they were in required that they have thick, strong legs. However, the female never really liked that look in the first place, but they wanted to perform well in their sport. And now that they were out of their sport, they wanted to get rid of those legs. So they said that everything they ever did exercise-wise just always made their legs bigger. I did, body weight at home workouts that were supposed to trim your thighs, and my legs would get bigger. I did da 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 that was supposed to trim your thighs, and my legs got bigger. And what she found out was, is she was overeating at the wrong times, causing growth and slowing down or pausing any kind of fat loss. So what we actually did was we had her train her legs aggressively 3 times a week to where we created muscle damage. But then after that, we didn't feed her any protein. We didn't give her a surplus of calories to where her body could really fix and repair those muscles. So we actually underfed her after her workouts. Gave her a little bit of fats for energy, a little bit of carbs for energy, but no proteins. And what we wanted to do was to teach her body that, like, we're going to break this muscle tissue down. You won't be able to repair this tissue. So why don't you get rid of some? And we actually taught her body, and we got her body to do this, was to actually take muscle off of her legs, and we were actually able to thin her legs out. That's very odd because it's the reverse science, essentially, of trying to build muscle. So typically you'd work out and you'd want to eat protein and good healthy calories right after the workout so your body was in a surplus and it could build muscle. We did the complete opposite. We used the science of how the body works, how food works, against it. And we got the result we wanted, even though it was a very abnormal result. So, when she was trying to lose size in her legs, and nothing worked, she wasn't broken. The approaches she was using were incorrect. Okay? And another client, Andrew, he tried to grow muscle in his chest, had been doing chest exercises out the wazoo, never really had a good chest, frustrated the crap out of him, and we tried to figure out what could we do. Well, it got to the point that we actually trained his chest 3 days in a row. First day was heavy barbell movements, second day was heavy dumbbell movements, third day was isolations. And we fed him a lot of protein in those 3 days. And then we kind of let the body relax and recover on the other days. So rather than pushing it on all the other days, we actually gave the body some leeway to recover. Therefore, it could make the adaptations to the chest growth and not have a competing caloric usage for other body parts and other activities. So he was actually able to build his chest by training his chest 3 days in a row and by increasing his protein intake around that time, but then taking away a lot of other activities away from those workouts. So again, what ended up happening was anything he ever did for his chest never seemed to work. This bench press program, this bodybuilding program, this thing from this magazine or online, nothing ever seemed to work because they were using the same approaches, just done kind of like in little different twists. But that approach style didn't work because it wasn't what's best for him. There was nothing wrong with his chest. It was just the approaches he was using didn't match his needs. He was not broken. He just needed the new approach. When we got the approach changed, and I think it was like 3 or 4 months, he absolutely could see huge difference in his photographs. And he felt more confident in his t-shirts because he was able to kind of like fill them out and look what he wanted to look more like. Okay? I have tons of clients that I've worked with for rehab purposes or corrective exercise issues. So they've had hip injuries, knee injuries, lower back injuries, you name it, shoulder injuries, where they thought they were broken. They thought it was the end of their career in athletics. So whether they were a powerlifter, whether they're a bodybuilder, CrossFit athlete, everything under the sun, basically. I've worked with people who do Ironman stuff, people do 100-mile races. I've worked with Olympians in BMX, swimming. I mean, there's tons of people. But basically what it comes down to is they all thought at one point they were broken. They weren't. They just needed to better understand how food worked, how their muscles in their body worked, and then use that science, use the truth of the body against itself. meaning you could predict what your responses were going to be to certain behaviors because you knew how the body would respond. You therefore put in the behaviors you want to get the responses you want, and boom, there you go. You get results. So, you are not broken. You just need a new approach. So if you've tried things over and over and over and you just can't seem to get over that hurdle, you can't seem to start to get forward progression, you can't seem to make a significant difference, there's nothing wrong with you. You are not broken. You just need a new approach. Okay? Now, how do you find out this information? We have a ton of information. So I am going to kind of toot my own horn on this because at 620 some podcasts, we have a ton of nutrition education in these podcasts. We have a ton of training education in these podcasts. We teach you how to write your own nutrition plan. We teach you how to write your own training plan. It's all in these podcasts. So if you say, well, I'm trying my approaches, but you say I'm not broken, well, how do I find the right thing to do? Learn how the damn body works. Learn about food. Stop trying to follow diets and just follow stupid-ass rules that you don't know why they even exist. Stop trying to do it easy and do it right. Do it in a way that'll be permanent. Learn what food does in your body. Learn how you can train your body to elicit different results. Then use that information in a way that best fits your needs. Stop following everyone else's program and make your own. We have the resources available, okay? Now, to help you with that, if you want to email us at brutalironGym@gmail.com, email us what your issue is, what you're having trouble with, and I'll send you the podcast links for the podcasts that will directly help you, the ones that you want to learn from, okay, and put together the information yourself. You don't have to pay us anything. I'm not doing this because I want to make money, okay? I'm doing this because I want you to be a healthier, happier person, and that's what God put me on this planet for. So I'm fulfilling my purpose by just helping you live a healthier, happier life. So whatever you're struggling with, email us, and I will send you the podcasts that will relate to your issue, and that way you can start to educate yourself on how to correct yourself and fix yourself, and finally take control of your body and get the results you want. Again, you are not broken. You just need a new approach. And let us help you find out what that approach is. Okay? So email us, brutalironGym@gmail.com. Whatever you're struggling with, we will send you resources. We will help you out. Great. Now, if you think this podcast would help someone else that you know, a family member or friend, if you think that someone you love is struggling to achieve something, share this podcast, please, 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 please. So you can share it directly with them. You can share it on your social media as kind of a hint. You can share it however you want to. But if you know or if you believe someone is struggling and you think they're in a tough emotional and mental place and they think they're broken, let them know that they're not. Okay? So share this podcast, please, please, please. Also, if you like this type of information, you can find more from us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Brutal Iron Gym. And if you have any questions, feedback, or suggestions, we'd love to hear from you. This podcast is for you, so we want to know what you want to learn about. You can tell us at our email at brutalironGym@gmail.com. As always, I hope this was helpful, and thank you for listening. And thank you for watching.